On Fergie, emails between her and Epstein seem to show that she may have had a crush on him, or some have suggested she was in love with the disgraced financier.
Everyone's talking about the Epstein emails, the £20,000 rent plea, the desperate messages to a convicted sex offender. But the most unsettling part isn't that she asked him for money, it's what she was spending it on while she begged. And once you see the timeline what she was doing in the same week she claimed to be broke, it stops making sense entirely. We'll get into the suitcases later, because what was inside them tells you everything about how this spiraled out of control. Sarah Ferguson earned the nickname Duchess of Excess decades ago, but the details that have surfaced recently, from Andrew Lownie's 2025 biography and thousands of leaked Epstein documents, paint a picture that goes beyond extravagance. This is a story about compulsion, entitlement, and a refusal to connect actions with consequences. And it's been consistent for 40 years. You've heard she spent millions, but the specifics read like dark comedy. In October 2010, Ferguson sent Jeffrey Epstein an urgent email begging for £20,000 to cover rent that day, warning that her landlord was threatening to go to the newspapers. That same year, just months earlier, she had been pitching herself to Cunard Blind for a $1 million endorsement deal, 4 luxury cruises at $250,000 per appearance. The proposal failed, but the fact that she was simultaneously positioning herself as a $250,000 brand ambassador while begging for rent money reveals something about how disconnected her self-image was from reality. The spending wasn't just luxury, it was bizarre. When she travelled, she brought 25 suitcases to the airport, racking up between £800 and £4,000 in excess baggage fees every single trip. 5 of those cases were packed with toiletries and makeup. Another was used exclusively for coat hangers. Not clothes, just the hangers themselves. Staff at Sunninghill, the 50,000-acre estate she shared with Andrew during their marriage, described dinner setups that resembled medieval banquets, a whole side of beef, a leg of lamb, and a chicken laid out every night. Most of it was for just her and her 2 daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie. And most of it ended up in the bin the next morning. There was no attempt to keep leftovers, it just sat there overnight and got thrown away. Behind closed doors, the people who worked for her were keeping track. Staff were required to iron all of her underwear, bras, knickers, tights meticulously. If any piece of laundry didn't smell of her preferred fabric conditioner, everything went back to be washed again. 2 hot water bottles were placed in her bed every night, with the water temperature measured to be exactly to her liking. Orange juice had to be freshly squeezed precisely as she sat down at the table, or she refused to drink it. She could tell if it had been prepared earlier. Her butler had to arrive at 4:30 in the morning to put watercress on ice. Personal trainers, hairdressers, and Pilates instructors were paid hundreds of pounds per hour to wait for her to emerge in the late afternoon. One year, she spent £65,000 to keep a personal trainer on permanent standby. She used their services twice. One former staff member told Lownie that it was greed and wastefulness that contributed to the Duchess's financial downfall. The waste wasn't abstract, it was daily, visible, and deliberate. Even the family dog, a Jack Russell named Bendix, ate proper cooked meals, liver or sausages with gravy, prepared by staff. Meanwhile, the freezer was stuffed with ice creams that nobody touched, and £300 vanished every week on vegetables from Waitrose. But here's the part that makes it worse. She knew the bills weren't being paid. By the mid-1990s, it wasn't just banks chasing her. It was the local newsagent who refused further service after a £500 bill went unpaid. A butcher, a dry cleaning company, and a car hire firm were all listed among her creditors. Her BP petrol card was confiscated due to unpaid arrears. She racked up £6,500 using the Queen's Special Mail Service to send out photographs and extravagant gifts, silver letter openers, cufflinks, money clips. She also regularly missed non-refundable flights, adding thousands in unnecessary costs. At one point, she spent £51,000 at Selfridges through a personal shopper, and £14,000 in a single month at a London wine merchant. In 1994, her debts climbed past £3.7 million. Kurtzbank demanded £500,000 within 14 days. The late Queen Elizabeth stepped in and bailed her out. It didn't stop the spending. By 2009, after her company Hartmore collapsed, she was buried under £630,000 in fresh debt. Estimates at the time put her total obligations somewhere between £2 and £5 million. Bankruptcy looked like a real possibility.
The problem is, the month before it was sent, it came out that Sarah Ferguson had been given £15,000 by Jeffrey Epstein. At the time, she said she'd have nothing more to do with him. Her spokesperson, now claiming that she was taken in by his lies, has nothing but sympathy for his victims, and blackmail was the reason for the email.
That's when the emails to Epstein started, and they didn't stop for 15 years. Jeffrey Epstein had been convicted in 2008 of soliciting a minor for sex. By the time Ferguson contacted him in 2010, he was a registered sex offender. She knew exactly who he was. In October 2010, she sent that frantic message, "I urgently need £20,000 for rent today. The landlord has threatened to go to the newspapers if I don't pay. Any brainwaves?" In January of that year, she had asked if she could borrow $50,000 or $100,000 to help with what she called small bills. When the money apparently arrived, she replied, "You are a legend. Just marry me."
In February 2011, Fergie emails Epstein about money she owes a former member of staff. "I'm embarrassed and sorry to ask you, as it is such a favour. What shall we do?" Epstein replies, "I need to speak to Andrew. Don't worry."
Some insiders believe the tone of these emails suggests she had deeper feelings for Epstein, or at the very least, a willingness to flatter him for financial support. She also asked about visiting his private island in the Caribbean, according to the documents. Estimates suggest Epstein may have bankrolled her for up to 15 years, with the total amount reaching as high as £2 million. Bank records from 2001 show he wired her $150,000, which her spokesperson later claimed related to share options from her role as a Weight Watchers ambassador and was repaid within 48 hours. The financial relationship clearly extended far beyond that single transaction, but in March 2011, something forced her hand. She had to go public. She admitted taking £15,000 from Epstein, called it a gigantic error of judgment, and declared that she abhorred pedophilia and would never have anything to do with him again. 1 month later, she sent him an email that told a completely different story. "You have always been a steadfast, generous, and supreme friend to me and my family," she wrote. She apologized for publicly criticizing him and explained that she had been bedridden with fear. That email stayed hidden for 14 years. When it surfaced in September 2025, the consequences were immediate.
Several charities have cut ties with Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York. This is because of an email she reportedly wrote to Jeffrey Epstein, calling him a supreme friend.
7 charities cut ties with her in 1 week. The Teenage Cancer Trust, an organization she had been associated with for 35 years, severed the relationship. Her charitable foundation, Sarah's Trust, announced it would close for the foreseeable future. Her children's books were withdrawn from circulation. She was evicted from Royal Lodge alongside Prince Andrew. She sold a London townhouse she had purchased in 2022 for £4.2 million, taking a £400,000 loss. Her current net worth is reportedly around £745,000, not enough to buy even a terrace house in Windsor, the town she's called home for decades. After weeks in hiding, her whereabouts were revealed. She spent time in the French Alps before moving on to the United Arab Emirates, where her youngest daughter Eugenie was spotted this week after travelling to Qatar for an art fair as part of her job with Hauser and Wirth. Sources say Ferguson has told friends, "I need to get back to work. I need money." She's reportedly scouting for a new PR team, hoping to stage a comeback without Andrew this time and continue living in the Windsor area. Different decades. Different homes, different sources of money, but the behaviour, identical. In 2009, she was pursuing a $1 million Cunard endorsement while begging Epstein for rent. In 1996, after her divorce, she complained there was no money for the second son, yet spent £14,000 a month on wine. Every night, staff laid out a medieval banquet that got thrown away the next morning. She missed non-refundable flights regularly. She paid trainers hundreds of pounds an hour to wait while she emerged in the late afternoon. She travelled with suitcases full of coat hangers, while local shopkeepers cut her off for unpaid bills. Royal expert Jenny Bond summed it up. Her downfall was her hopeless grasp of money combined with her desire to have more of it. A royal insider described Epstein's view of Ferguson more bluntly, saying he wasn't particularly fond of her and saw her more as a useful idiot who offered him access to Andrew's good graces and, through that, a path to the royals. What stands out across all of this isn't the luxury, it's the refusal to connect spending with consequences. From the Queen's bailouts in the 1990s to Epstein's bankrolling in the 2010s to the charity partnerships lost in 2025, the pattern never changed. She's now essentially homeless, shopping for PR firms, with a net worth under £1 million and no safety net despite decades of income from Weight Watchers, QVC, books and TV appearances. The monarchy has drawn a line. King Charles broke royal protocol to publicly condemn Andrew. Fergie's trying to separate herself and plot a solo return. But the emails, the debts, and the decades of excess are all public now. Do you think she'll ever change her spending habits? Or is this just who she is? And was accepting money from Epstein after his conviction desperation or something worse? The full story of how the House of York fell this far goes back even further than this, and it only gets stranger.